let's leave on to that. Okay. We'll now invite Anna Slater to present and to introduce the petition for half an hour.
Some say to make a case for a change in parking policy when we think that it's fair, necessary and non-overdue. We think that 30 minutes of free parking would help ensure the survival of Barnet's high streets. In the 3 years that I've worked for the paper, I've covered countless stories on parking. It's a toxic issue and it's one that can run with the most calm-headed members of our borough. Whilst we respect the work that the committee has done, we don't feel that the issue has been fully explored. The responses that we've received from our petition show that people prefer to use shops and businesses near their homes, but because it's too expensive or inconvenient due to parking policy, they don't. People who want to run quick errands feel put off because parking costs can sometimes outweigh the cost of a pint of milk, a newspaper, or even just a simple pack of paracetamol. Newsagents, florists, bakeries, dry cleaners, sandwich shops and cafes at lunchtime, anywhere that you might want to go for just to quickly get something you need, have suffered. And the main losers are the businesses who've taken huge hits. The 5,000 people who have signed the petition show that there is significant support for reforms. The Barnet Society also we've already heard. When cash meters were removed from car parks and high streets, traders say that their businesses were badly hit. Shoppers left in their droves and have not returned. Now they prefer to head to Brent Cross where parking is free. And when you look at it like that, how are small businesses supposed to compete? In an ideal world, you would bring parking meters back, but we aren't in an ideal world, and we have to be realistic. We believe that giving people half an hour's free parking would give shoppers an incentive to come back to the area, and local people a reason to spend money in the communities that they live in. They wouldn't have to put their bank card in the machine or pass with their phone to pay. They'd simply press a button and stick the ticket on the screen. That's really all there is to it. Let me give you some examples of some people that I've spoken to. The Tally Discount Market is one of the latest casualties of Barnet's parking scheme. Former owner Paul Shea told me today that he was forced out by draconian rules. He shut them after Christmas. His customers told him that they found parking in the area far too inconvenient to visit anymore. He even showed his takings books that prove that when cashless meters were abolished, his trade dropped dramatically. And you can't argue with this. Eve Fox, who owns Valley House in High Barnet, was also forced to close and move to Weststone. Her customers had to faff around the parking system just to drop their petrol. Those who didn't know risked it, got parking tickets. There's nothing more dispiriting than the sight of businesses being forced to close down and leave. And I fear that unless something is done to change parking policy, this is a sight that we're going to grow accustomed to in the next few years. Those are just 2 case studies of many. I can tell you more, but they all say the same thing. Their businesses are dying due to the parking system. And at the end of the day, traders have spoken, and they know what's best for their business. These are independent shops, which are more likely to buy from suppliers in the borough, rather than centralised supply systems. Their whole workforce is likely to live in the area. If they benefit, we all benefit. And let's take a look at our neighbours in Harrow and Redbridge, and even Hartsmere. Both all offer parking for between 20 to 30 minutes, which traders and councils have previously said is worth their weight in gold. Trade is booming there. There's a steady flow of customers and people come back. You say this isn't a good idea, so what other ideas can you bring? Because we fear that if something isn't done soon, Barnet's high streets will be killed off for good. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I just wondered, Ms. Slater, how...
Can I clarify, is it Salter or Slater? Because it's on our list here. Salter.
No, it's Slater.
It is Slater?
Yeah.
Sorry, okay. Our list is right.
Thank you. I was just going to ask you, Ms. Slater, how does this campaign for 30 free parking compare with the response to other campaigns that you've run on the newspaper?
Campaigns that we run in the newspaper, we've always had a great response to campaigns. We never started a campaign if it's not something that people have wanted, for example. So in Borwood we had a campaign for 24-hour traffic lights in Stirling Hall, which had a great response and which we won. There's been other examples of campaigns which have been very well received.
Can I just ask you, we hear from Councillor Cohen and also from some of his colleagues that there's no need to introduce a free parking period because the high streets are already full enough. What have the traders that you've spoken to said?
But that's just completely not true. They're saying that they're massively suffering, that their takings have gone down, that they're worried, they're all worried about the future of their businesses, and they're not going to just randomly come out and say that it's not true. They have no need to lie about something like this.
Other questions?
Yeah, one. Yes, you know, you emphasise, Slater, that the fall-off in business, and you ask the shopkeepers, but I find it hard to believe. If you ask the farmer how his business, he'll say it's horrible. You ask a shopkeeper, it's horrible. You know, one wonders a little bit just how bad it is, allegedly.
Are you calling us liars?
No, calling you liars, calling people, it's a fact of life.
So 23 years on
and
your parking will be off. So that's I'm no longer trading.
I'm not buying. Go,
have a walk up there now.
No, I can't, I'm not shouting against people shouting in the background.
But you're not listening.
That's not listening. I haven't been for 4 years.
Also, you get something on the shopkeepers.
Obviously, one way of telling whether high street is declining, and obviously shops come and go, right? That's business, shops close, new ones open, right? And do you have you done some research? I mean,
Not coffee
in
shops,
terms of occupancy rates in the borough, because I've got some figures in front of me. From in 2013, I don't think there's anything since 2013, but 2013, it's the lowest vacancy rate since I think it's been reported in 2000. Shops.
Okay.
Vacancy rates in shops since 2003. So for 10 years, 2013 was the lowest percentage of vacancy across the borough. What would you like to...
So are you saying that it's gone up? I don't quite understand.
No, it's gone down. The lowest vacancy rate.
Charity shops and
The lowest vacancy rate in 2003. So over 10 years, the vacancy rate has gone down.
Right.
Do you include charity shops?
Sorry, I'm not.
The number of
More
empty
shops
shops.
are occupied
More shops are
than
empty.
they have been at any time.
Sorry, sir.
But sorry, it's just because if more shops are empty, then surely that proves that
No, more
So
shops are
more
occupied.
more shops are occupied. But what you need to do is you need to speak to the traders, you need to speak to the actual people that are occupying shops to find out what they think, and that's not really happened so far.
a dozen bookmakers, a dozen charity shops in North Finchley. They're listed.
Is there any other further questions? Karen?
Thank you. And you have the petition that came from Barnet was asking for an hour's free parking. You're asking for half an hour. And you probably already know that we as a Labour group are proposing 30 minutes as well. That was part of our election manifesto last year, and we're still proposing that. But can you tell me how will 30 minutes parking as opposed to an hour's free parking help local traders?
We're trying to be realistic with it. We think that I'm not an expert on parking matters, but having spoken to people who use the parking spaces, having spoken to traders, and even having spoken to people in Bournemouth and in Harrow, they say that half an hour has been so fantastic, and we are trying to be realistic with our campaign. And I don't want to knock anyone else's petition, because I think that every petition that's been presented tonight has been producing fantastic ideas. But just for a kind of like a solution to help people stop and go, half an hour would be a great solution.
Obviously, there's been already a number of changes in high streets across the borough. Are you suggesting that they remain the same, or, for example, if there's an hour free, that should become half an hour free, or that should remain an hour free, and everywhere that's not that hour free?
That's something that needs to be taken subjectively, I think, because there's obviously a reason why those car parks are an hour free. So you need to look at that in a bit more detail.
Councillor Sandra?
Slater, when you started your comments, you were talking about people coming out to shop and popping out for a sandwich or a packet of aspirin or whatever. Do you really think those people travel by car?
Yes,
Do you think they should be encouraged to travel by car? If all they're doing is popping out for a sandwich or a packet of aspirin?
I don't think it's fair. If you're going out for a packet of aspirin, chances are you have headaches, you probably don't want to walk. You can't tell people not to use their cars. If you're elderly, you might go to completely unfair to say you shouldn't be in your car in the first place. At the end of the day, Barnet is very Barnet.
You see, I attended you've got a copy here from the Green Party, a gathering on Sunday looking at car use, where they were very keen to encourage anyone with sort of less than 2 miles to go that they should go by bike or to walk there. Sorry, question. Well, I did ask my question. The point is either there are groups of people in this borough who would equally encourage everyone to walk or to cycle and not to take their cars just to get the off bit.
That's completely unfair.
Which are the group of people, which is the group of people you were talking about wanting to visit the high school.
Not everyone's able to walk, not everyone's able to cycle. That's completely unfair. If you do that, then you're just excluding one group of people.
I wasn't saying that I agree with them. I'm just saying that this was a view that was expressed.
Thank you, Councillor.
2 days ago.
Thank you, Slater. Thank you very much. Any comments? Okay, let me start the debate. I think Carrie said that it's a Labour proposal, but obviously this policy or
It's a Labour
proposal?
policy, it was in our manifesto and it was proposed.
Okay, but this year in your budget, it didn't appear to appear. It wasn't in. But in the list of proposals that Councillor Schneider, your leader, put across, only included about members' permits. It didn't include anything about free parking.
And we can put an alternative.
You said you didn't. Precisely, you couldn't put together an alternative.
Okay, fine. Councillor Scheidemann.
Fine, thank you. My recommendation on this petition is that the committee supports this petition and the idea of introducing 30 minutes free parking. This is something that residents and traders have been calling for a long time. It's clear that businesses are suffering. Parking is a key cause of that, and it's only fair that the council does what it can to support local traders in these difficult economic times. So therefore I propose that we agree with the petition, we accept that 30 minutes free parking should be implemented across the borough, and that we instruct officers to go away and come back to the next meeting with proposals for implementing this. We've been arguing it for far too long. Traders have been calling for it for years, as we've heard. I think it's time that we actually start going and do it now.
The committee aren't in a position to approve the petition until you have an officer's report. You're in a particular next situation, so if the committee considers that the petition has merit, the next stage is to call for an officer's report, which will then give you the facts and figures you need to make an informed decision. And at that stage, if having seen the facts and figures and the costings, then you've got the opportunity to say, well, we support this proposal. So if you think it's got merit, the next stage is to call for a report.
I mean, Mr. Chairman, I think that's what I said. I believe that the petition has got merit. It's been needed for a long time. I said I moved the recommendation that we support it, and we call for officers to come back to the next meeting with a proposal and details for implementation.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, we had a very long discussion at our last meeting about parking policy, which the committee agreed. I think particularly the idea of the 85% occupancy rate is a very worthwhile aim, and certainly as a part of achieving that, it may be possible to introduce certain areas of free parking which at the moment are charged for. And that is something that, as part of our ongoing policy, we can certainly consider. However, the petition is saying, 30 minutes across the board. I can't support that because I believe the policy that we agreed at the last meeting gives a certain flexibility as far as free parking is concerned, but I'm not prepared to accept that it's the solution to be applied across the borough.
Councillor Slater.
Gentlemen, can I ask officers, somewhere way back in the depths of my memory, I recall that shopkeepers in dire financial problems could apply to the council for rebates, discretionary rate rebates, to help them with what is a major cost to their businesses. Probably far more influential than business lost through a few people who can't park there. Is that still the case?
What we've been saying, who's got nothing to do with it?
We're talking about
parking.
we're talking about the availability of
I don't think there's any to go off because we have to give you that response. So that's okay. I will do a proposal that we note the petition, and I'm looking for a seconder.
I've already made the recommendation. My recommendation.
Your motion hasn't been seconded.
Yes, you did last week.
Yes,
No.
Councillor Farrier seconded it.
Sorry, John move the motion?
Can we make our comments to be finished?
Oh, sorry, I mean, Councillor Farrier wants to make a comment.
Sorry, Councillor Farrier?
Half an hour free parking has been implemented, as we've heard, in places like Cotton Farm, Boreham Wood, in Harrow, where in most places I think it's 20 minutes free parking. I very often use because I work and we've heard that it's very successful there and has boosted local trade. It's a very popular proposal. We can do more surveys, we can find out specifically from traders, but traders that we've spoken to, traders who've responded to this now petitions, are very clear that this will help their trade. And therefore I think that this proposal should be investigated properly and carried through.
Okay. All right. So, although, Councillor Peel, say another comment?
I would, yes, because from what has been said, that the petition is going to be looked at on its merits. That's so subjective because we've seen that what you think are merits. Supporting NSL would have been a disaster. No money machines, just not listening to people's needs and wishes. So how can we trust you to actually judge the merits of the petition? I don't feel very confident.
Any other comments? All right. Okay, so Ashline, we're going to repeat your...
Yeah, so, Chairman, it's clear, as I said, it's clear that businesses are suffering. The council needs to do what it can to help. As Councillor Farrier says, free parking has worked in other areas. Other councils have done it. We should do it. This petition was started by the Times newspaper. It's had a huge response. So my motion is that we accept the petition, we agree with the principle of 30 minutes free parking, and we ask officers to go away and come back to the next meeting with proposals for implementation.
3.2 part 5, the last bullet point you're asking for. Is that what you say?
Well, I'm asking for the third bullet point, which is agree a recommended course of action, is that we should implement 30 minutes free parking. The fourth bullet point is instruct an officer to prepare a report, and I'm proposing that as well.
Is that seconded? Okay. All those in favour of that proposal, please show.
No.
All those against?
We don't want officers to find out whether it's possible or not. Just deny the petition completely. Not listening to
Okay.
everybody at all.
I'll now move my proposal that
in May.
drop out. I'll put my proposal moving note for the petition, and we continue to work with residents and traders to make improvements where there is in terms of fitting in with the policy that was agreed at this last meeting.
That's not noting the petition, that's denying the petition.
No, please.
No, it's not.
What action are you actually proposing to take as a result of this petition?
To work with residents and traders to make improvements where required to fit in with the policy that was agreed at this committee last meeting.
So precisely what?
Which is the way it
What is that in English?
Noted? Yeah. All those in favour? Second. All those against? Carried. Okay. Thank you very much.